Belarusian military could soon join war in Ukraine. The US and NATO believe that Belarus could soon join Russia in its war against Ukraine. US and NATO officials tell CNN and that the country is already taking steps to do so. It is increasingly likely that Belarus will enter the conflict. A NATO military official said on Monday, Russian President Vladimir Putin needs support. Anything would help, the official explained. A Belarusian opposition source said that Belarusian combat units are ready to go into Ukraine as soon as in the next few days, with thousands of forces prepared to deploy. In the source's view, this would have less of an impact militarily than it will geopolitically, given the implications of another country joining the war. A senior NATO intelligence official said separately that the alliance assesses that the Belarusian government is preparing the environment to justify a Belarusian offensive against Ukraine. Russia has launched its attack on Ukraine, in part from Belarus's territory, and thousands of Russian troops amassed in Belarus ahead of the Kremlin's invasion of Ukraine last month, which the two countries had claimed was for training exercises. US and European sanctions in response to the war have targeted both Russian and Belarusian officials, including Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko. Belarus moved to change its constitution last month to allow the country to host both Russian forces and nuclear weapons permanently, though US officials have emphasized to CNN that they have not yet seen any evidence of Russia moving nuclear weapons or preparing to. The sources emphasized that there have been no indications to date that Belarus is currently participating in the fighting in Ukraine, and a senior US defense official said the Pentagon had not seen any indications that the Belarusians are preparing to move into Ukraine, or that they've made any agreements to do that. The NATO military official said that a final decision for Belarus's involvement in the war still has to be made in Moscow. As of yet, there has been no indication that Belarusian forces are participating in the fighting in Ukraine. It is not about what Lukashenko wants, the official explained. The question is, does Putin want another unstable country in the region? Involvement would destabilize Belarus, the official said. The official wouldn't elaborate on how Belarus would intervene in the war, but said it made sense for Russia to try and cut off NATO military aid coming into Ukraine from its western border nearly a month into the war. Russian troops have failed to seize a single major city, and their advance has been halted on nearly all fronts by staunch Ukrainian defense. Now Ukrainian forces are preparing to retake captured territory as Russian forces battle declining morale, according to the latest Pentagon assessments. A senior official was asked about logistics problems during a briefing on Tuesday. We picked up some indications that some of their soldiers were suffering from frostbite because they had lacked the appropriate cold weather gear for the environment that they're in. that they haven't. In addition to food and fuel, even in terms of personal equipment, for some of their troops, they're having trouble, said the official. Part of that is down to the fierce resistance put up by Ukrainian forces, and part of that is that Moscow failed to plan properly, said the official, with Russia's ground offensive stalled about 10 miles outside the capital of Kiev. Its forces have been increasingly reliant on airstrikes and artillery. Some of the fiercest fighting has been around the southern port city of Mariupol, as Moscow seeks to capture a land bridge between the territory in controls in the Donbass and Crimea. U.S. officials have warned that Vladimir Putin could be about to unleash chemical weapons in a desperate effort to break what appears to be a stalemate. President Joe Biden said on Monday that Russia's false accusations that Kiev has biological and chemical weapons illustrated that the Russian leader was considering using them himself. The U.S. official, speaking to reporters on condition of anonymity, shared Biden's assessment, but added there's no indication that there's something imminent in that regard right now. At the same time, he said Ukrainian forces had been organizing an attempt to retake lost ground.